back to American Truck Simulator. Welcome back to my channel. And welcome back to not being able to drive from third person view. I hope everyone's doing well. So, we're in a Mack Superliner today. And I don't really know where I start here. I guess every story starts with a bottle of tequila, not this one. So, yeah, we're in a Mack Superliner. And we have a cargo behind us. Let's just negotiate. It's a little bit of a hazard here. So this is an alpha test of an engine. And by alpha, I mean, I don't know if there's a formal definition between alpha and beta, but this is the first time that this engine has turned a wheel in the game. And under the hood is a Caterpillar C18. Now, this definition was inspired by a friend of mine, Sputnik7, who entered the credits for the Steel Productions engine pack just a few weeks ago. And he sent me some information and asked me some insightful questions, and it's very useful about how I come up with and how I design various parts of the engine. And of course, that's great. Well, in a late night discussion, which did not involve tequila, so for whatever reason we got on the topic of discussing engines in his own mod pack, and he mentions the C18, and I'm like, man, I didn't think that was being used. Well, I was wrong. No, I'm frequently wrong. And I should have been going to sleep, but instead I was browsing the internet, and oh, look at that. The C18 is almost the exact same size as the C50. It's a little heavier, but not by much. I mean, we're talking like a bowling ball or two heavier. So, surely it would fit under the hood of a truck. Well, it does, and there are some trucks that run a C18. One I saw was Skug's tugboat powered Peterbilt 359. Well, I mean, that wasn't quite the topic of it, but it was a C18 bought used from a tugboat skipper, presumably, and installed in his 359, and that was only a 700 horsepower engine. See, only. The 2018 models are available up to 800, with more torque than a whole gaggle of schoolgirls at a Duran Duran concert in the 1980s. Well, that's what we've got on the hood today. Not the gaggle of schoolgirls at a Duran Duran concert. That would be rather noisier than the engine we currently have. But we've got a C18. And this is one of the least powerful of the range I've found. I have found definitions, or at least information, from a 575 version all the way up to an 800. This is the 630 horsepower version. So I didn't really want to go with the 600. I've got plenty of 600 horsepower motors. I've got a good number of 575s. Well, we went with the 630. I may yet come out with the less powerful ones, but right now this one seems to fit the niche. So it's rated at 630 horsepower and 2178 foot-pounds of torque. And I'm using it in a Superliner with a maxi torque 13-speed overdrive transmission with a 398 final drive, I believe. It's doing about 1300 revs at 55 in torque gear. And I'm taking it steady up this hill. And to indicate what I mean by taking it steady, if I punch the throttle open, it might downshift. Let's just try it. It does. Downshifts and pulls. Well, I guess it pulls. To be fair, it's not exactly impressing right now, but this is a pretty steep hill, so I'm going to lift off and let it upshift. There we go. It shifted up a couple of gears. Oh, thank you. Might have scared him or her. So, putting aside my jerky driving, I'm very happy with how this engine's pulling. Behind us we've got a 13,000 pound trailer, give or take, and a 42,000 pound cargo. So we're grossing, I think, somewhere like 75,000 pounds. So we're not at our max weight, but not exactly light either. And We're accelerating grandly. Let's use some cruise control, some reserve. That gives me full throttle but the highest gear possible. I think we're coming up to a speed limit area, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's pulling great. I'm actually going to ease off because these look a little tighter. Let's encourage the engine, let's downshift. In fact, let's brake a lot firmer. Okay. I over-braked down to 25. I wanted to be down to 35, but so be it. As for the sound, well, we're using pretty much the typical Caterpillar sound I'm using. It's actually sound derived from the Volvo FH in ETS2. I've adjusted the turbo sound a little bit. And what we have here is a bit of a mix. I really wanted sufficient turbo whine. Not the yawning. And Caterpillar advertised the 2018 C13 as either being a single turbo or I think they use the word compounding, dual. So essentially the dual turbos, as I understand, and if I'm wrong here, please do correct me kindly, that the dual turbocharger setup has one turbocharger per bank of 3 cylinders.
Keep left.
Really?
Left.
Okay, I guess we'll find out how much I weigh.
Turn left.
Oh, go ahead and stop here. My light is about to go to green. Yep, there we go. Let's see how well we did. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and pause. I'll go ahead and get myself weighed, or at least the truck, and save you from watching me haul all the way around.
Okay, let's find a new route.
I'll be right back.
Make a U-turn now.
And welcome back. Well, it's the next day in the game, and the reason there is because when I checked the time left on my shift, I was pushing it really close to get back to get to the destination in time. So that's my rig, and let's jump in. In fact, let's go ahead and remote start it. Here we go. Let's go ahead and jump in, and we'll be on our way. Okay. So we were just over £74,000, I think 74,400 if memory serves me correctly. How much fuel have we got? Half a tank, that's plenty. I'm not going to stress getting more fuel. Yeah, let's be on our way. So something that strikes me about the industrial engine and that we're using here, or at least the industrial spec, is how much torque it's got off the line. Caterpillar, that is, quote the torque figures for this engine at such low engine speeds, and it's got a lot more essentially clutch engagement torque than the heavy-duty trucking engines have. Quite why that is, I'm not sure. Now, I might be they're just simply built differently, or it may be that the clutch engagement torque that manufacturers quote. Now, I reckon these guys are about to get a green light. Yes, they are. It may be that the clutch engagement torque that manufacturers quote is actually kind of underestimated. Now, this is relevant. Why? Well, it's relevant because I built clutch engagement torque statistics into the Steel Productions engine pack. And typically, you get your clutch engagement torque at 800 RPM, and you get 1/3 at 200 RPM. So we should be able to go now. And that in itself, that's a standard that I now adhere to, and it seems to work okay. So my limit with the game is I don't have a pedal and a steering wheel, and so I don't have a clutch pedal, and that means I can't test how well my engines work with a manual gear change. So going on the assumption that a few people complain with this 1/3 clutch engagement at 200 RPM and clutch engagement at 800 RPM, I have had fewer complaints with that setup. Now that said, That doesn't mean I've had no complaints. So if you drive with a manual stick and a clutch pedal and you don't like how I've set it up, just let me know and I can do something about it. These engines, yeah, they have lots of torque at these sorts of engine speeds. They have just, I would say, stonk worthy. They have a lot of power off the line, a lot of torque off the line. To merge left just up here. Getting a bit of judder from the game. Frame rate's dropped a little bit. It was in the lower 40s then, but it's stabilized a little bit now. Okay, let me get off the power.
Then turn left.
It's quite an engine brake with this sound set up at least.
Turn left.
So yeah, trying to match the clutch engagement numbers is just to keep the thing authentic. But for a few reasons, there are times when you don't want to go as low as the clutch engagement numbers. And the main reason there is if you ever have to do a hill start, well, because of the map scaling, ATS and ETS2 condense those hills. It makes them steeper than they really are. And that means moving off from rest with a cargo behind you, especially a heavy cargo, can be very difficult because you've not got the torque to get the thing rolling, even in the lowest gear. So there are occasions when I'll try driving something and it's just not got the get up and go off the line. There, I suppose I will hand wave. Well, I imagine the driver might bring the clutch in progressively, and that's why it got a bit more off the line. And yeah, it's a little bit fuzzy logic. It's not really ideal. Okay, we'll wait for a green light here. Ah, there's a green light. Across. Okay. Does seem like the longest traffic light in the world, but I got here at just the wrong time. And we'll get to go in just a few seconds. Almost there. Yay. You may have spotted that I started to give it a little bit of power just before the line went to green. Oopsie, my bad. I don't know whether we moved off though. And it looks like we might turn right up here to go over or under the road we're currently on to get to our destination. Well, we're almost there. So, thoughts on the C18? I mean, it's let's just say it's usable. Yeah, it feels very pleasant to drive. And this is just the 630. I have a 755 and an 800 horsepower. One to test as well. It pulls very nicely, especially off the line, and that's, you know, that's my biggest complaint of a lot of engines. And the QS K19, especially the Cummins KT, are terrible for it. Their clutch engagement numbers are pretty low. What that means is you need super short gearing just to get the things moving. Now, yes, those engines do need a few revs to perform. But still. Okay, I actually have a green light here, but are we going to keep the green light? Near enough. Yeah, game's struggling a little bit, but... Okay, so I guess we don't... No, we're not the first left. We're going into Steeler. Okay, there we go. A little bit too much speed carrying into that yard. Okay, now hopefully this will not be a difficult drop. Right, let's take a look. Ugh, I'm not doing that. that will not be an easy drop. I'm not doing that in the slightest. And that one's going to be a little easier. That's actually inside the building. Okay, we'll go ahead and do that. That works for me. Oh yeah, and when we get around the corner, you'll see how little space we've got to manoeuvre. It's not like a fun backup. The one that would take, you know, a good 20 minutes of real world time. So I possibly could turn right down here and run next to these pipes, next to what looks like a generator, but we'll actually go a little further. Okay. So yeah, I think thoughts on the C18. It's a very usable engine in terms of lugging stuff, given it's got so much torque low down. The Caterpillar have used this engine in a lot of off-road, off-highway applications. So yes, I talk about tugboats. Yeah, it's been used as generators, including in a marine environment. It's been used for haul trucks, and the haul truck being the thing that takes ore up and down or up out of a quarry. And there it needs to just, I'm imagining, run at pretty high power settings the whole dang day. Well, no, okay, at least half the day to get up the hill, and then you barely run it going down the hill. Interesting duty cycle, that one, now I come to think of it. You're at full load half the time, potentially full load half the time anyway. And there might be periods of idling in the middle, so I could see that would be pretty tough on an engine. Right. I make that as having gotten to where I need to be. So let's go ahead and shut the engine down and see how well we did. Right. We covered 253 miles and we burnt 61.7 gallons of diesel, which is not... it's not exactly an efficient run, let's put it that way. That's about 4 miles per gallon, give or take. Yeah, I think 240 and 60 would be 4 miles per gallon. So, yeah, that's... you wouldn't buy a C18 necessarily for efficiency, you'd buy it for hauling those big heavy loads. So, there we go. Performed great, burnt lots of diesel. What more could you want? Yeah, performs great, burns less diesel per head. Thanks so much everyone, hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you the next time. Take care.